8:51, the world of sports betting is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but in recent years it's been shook up by a San Francisco man who has an enormous track record for getting it right. Dr. Bob Stoll is a statistician who uses his analysis to pick an uncanny number of winners. Good morning, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I think, was it last year you picked 71% of your winners correct?
Yeah, in college football, 71%.
Yeah. Now, you're not a bookie.
No.
You're a statistician. How do you do this in simple terms?
In simple terms, I basically combine technical analysis, which is performance patterns. Teams perform in there's certain ups and downs, and I've kind of isolated when teams are due to play well and when they're not based on their patterns. And the other half is a math model that tells me what the point spread should be, so I can kind of combine those two things.
I looked at some of the stuff you do, and a good indicator, sometimes a team, when they play at home, rushes better, and that might be a factor?
Yeah, I found that teams that run the ball better are better bets at home historically, and teams that are better passing teams tend to perform relatively better on the road.
So you combine all this and you make predictions, and you have a website that people subscribe to, and then if they choose to use your information in their own betting, that's how it works?
They do with the information whatever they choose to do, so I'm kind of off the hook as far as any legality goes. But the website's drbobsports.com, and there's lots of free information on there, so you don't have to pay to go on the website. Right. But people subscribe. Yeah.
And the articles I've read say it's changed the betting lines in Las Vegas. They get an influx of bets and cash every Thursday morning or something during football season.
Yeah, it started last year, actually. I'd had some good success in college football, especially in recent years. And as my subscriber base got bigger, more and more bets were pouring in on the games I was recommending, and they had to start adjusting the point spreads to take that into account.
All right, Jerry Rice was just here. He believes it's going to be Indianapolis, New Orleans in the Super Bowl. You have a prediction for this weekend?
Well, I think the Colts are more likely to win because they're at home, and they've actually kind of solved the hex of the Patriots. They won the last two after losing 7 or 8 in a row against New England. New Orleans, I'm not so sure. I think offensively, really good, but historically, teams at home in this level, championship games generally do better.
You mentioned earlier the randomness. I mean, you can do all the statistical studies you want if somebody fumbles a ball or does something crazy or the ref makes a bad call. And you mentioned the San Diego Chargers losing last week. Yeah. You had them winning?
I had San Diego minus 4.5 points, so I had them winning by more than 5 as my only recommendation last week to my clients. And that game looked pretty much in hand until that interception followed by the fumble, and that was pretty much it. And, you know, the Chargers fumbled 3 times in one game. Yeah. They only fumbled 6 times in 16 games. So there's a lot of random things. That's why there's no such thing as a lock or a sure thing in sports betting. You know,
we know that gambling can be addictive, and people can get into a lot of trouble. Aside from giving, advice on point spreads and who might win, do you give personal advice on your website, like telling people don't bet the mortgage payment?
No, I do. I mean, I have articles on my site about, like I just said, about there's no such thing as a lock or guarantee. I have money management articles. I suggest certain percentage of bankroll to limit your downside. Okay. I'm very conscious of the fact that there are gamblers out there who are a little out of control.
One thing that'll fascinate people, I don't think you've been to a pro football game, I believe, since you were 9, and you rarely watch the games on TV now. One would think you're glued to your television set. Why don't you watch?
Well, usually on Sundays I'm working on the next weekend, Saturday, college games, so I don't really have the time to watch football. As far as going to games, I don't know. I like college sports. I went to Cal, and I go to all the Cal games, but I just don't really have any interest in going to an NFL game.
Do you do this all year round? I mean, college basketball is going to be a big thing in March with March Madness and all that.
I love college basketball. It's a lot of fun to handicap, and college sports in general, a lot more fun. There's a bigger edge in college sports for me because there's obscure teams that I know a lot about that maybe the odds makers don't know much about. So,
well, this is a whole fascinating concept. A lot of people are interested. Give your website again so we have it.
It's drbobsports.com, drbobsports.com.
Got it. Thanks. Dr. Bob Stoll, statistician. Good luck this weekend with the games. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Time is just about 8:56. Let's go back to Frank and Pam.
All right, that's great. Very interesting. 8:56 is the time. We have a lot of college sports fans here as well, right, Sal?
College sports? I never watched that stuff.
Nothing better.
All right, good morning, everybody.